welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Smith Tool and Purchase, Level Plain Poem, Amish, Vitali Z, Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, On the Level, Thomas van der Zander, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sea Level Cultist, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, J Miles 24, Yu Unimento, M, Iron 26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Jardo. Morning, Neil. Morning, Steve.
Morning.
Been chatting to Brian
Well,
about
I'm sorry I stepped on you.
he's under some, I would say, misapprehension that there's more to various aspects of what we do here than meets the eye. Brian being a bit of a conspiratard in that regard.
So if you were on the phone with Brian, that had to be a long conversation.
Yeah, it was quite a long conversation.
Sorry, can you give some context to that?
I've been on the phone with Brian a few times. I know what you mean.
It was suggesting that the connection between Paul on the Plane, Robbie Davidson, Patricia Steer, and one other person whose name I can't remember was nefarious because they'd promoted some Bitcoin thing together. And I'm like, so? He's like, well, they're all saying that Earth's a ball again. Like, so? So what? But there we go. People like to read things into that sort of thing more than I think is necessarily worthy of your time. But there we go.
Does seem a little strange, Nathan.
Why? Why you?
Speaking about conspiracy stuff, the other day, I think it was Friday, we were all in here waiting for you to get on every show, and obviously you weren't having your show, so we started to talk about the reasons why, jokingly, and I said, I reckon that Nathan's taken a payout from Will Duffy, and he's going to flip to the Globe, and we're all having a bit of a laugh and a joke. But believe it or not,
I haven't flipped to the Globe, but
actually
it does kind of make sense,
believe it or not,
doesn't it? The Globe does kind of make sense, and that's kind of something that I'm gonna, massage into the show as we move forward. Why wouldn't you?
But
let him finish.
But to fill up the conspiracy, as we were talking about it, Will Duffy actually came on to the FED voice check and checked in literally 5 minutes after we were talking about it.
That's strange.
Very strange.
How do you know it was really
on an entirely unrelated subject? Have you seen my new Lamborghini?
Talking about the microphone?
I think it was Righteous that checked him in, but that's what Bush said. But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So he might join the show today. Then let's see.
Yeah, he was waiting for the next show. That's what he said. He'll be in here.
You see what happens when you take off a prolonged period? You miss things.
Anyway, Nathan, your mic sounds a bit muffled. Can you fiddle around with it a bit?
Is he even talking? He dead.
I think he's counting his money.
Or he's on mute and he doesn't realize it. I'm actually watching The Shining. Man! Speaking of conspirators,
Yeah?
so did he actually talk to anybody or he just got checked in?
Apparently just did his voice check. That's it.
Righteous had to have a few words with him, correct?
Said, what's your name? Can you speak? Does your mic work? Can you be voice verified?
No. You have a conversation. Righteous doesn't just say that. And I'm sure he could recognize the voice and make an assessment if it's really Duffy, because I think he's a coward. He won't step foot in here.
No, he owns this show now, so he can come whenever he wants, apparently.
All are welcome.
Did you sell the show to somebody, Nathan? I missed something. I just stepped back in.
Did I what?
You know, Jado said he owns the show.
Yeah, and then I joked. I asked if you'd seen my new Lamborghini on an unrelated subject. Just joking. Have I sold the show? No. Would I sell it for the, pittance that it makes me? What would I sell it for? It's more of a passion project. The only reason this show makes any money is because the people around the show, that's not the YouTube show and the YouTube channel, none of those things, right? The people around the show support me, right, Jardo? Right? It's because of the community that I've built because of the show. So the one does directly or has directly affected the other. But, over the last 2 or 3 days, I've been terribly rough. Drying out the air in ears made my skin explode and me feel awful. And constant headaches, which have now finally started to subside. But that sort of thing hasn't affected whether or not people support me financially. People want me to do what I do on YouTube, talking about Earth being flat. And the ad revenue doesn't support that, the community does. So only the other day I got a message from somebody, and the only message on the PayPal was, keep doing what you're doing. That was it. That was the entirety of the message. You're like, thanks. I will. I like doing what I'm doing. I mean, don't get me wrong, temporarily becoming a microphone purchaser and seller isn't necessarily my idea of fun. Someone moaned at me, by the way, slight tangent. I put out a video about the mic that I'm using, right, which I'm delighted with because I've got it cheap, right? Haggled my way to what would you call it when you trade and buy and sell and all that stuff to get to something better? Well, that's what I've done to get to a better mic, right? I'm very proud of myself. What's it called?
Finagled. There's finagling in the sound.
Finagle. Yeah, you've got it. That's the word. I finagled a better microphone, but it just involves work. I don't have money to do that. Now, that being said, I did get a couple of $100 out of people when I mentioned this. I was like, I'm not going to do a GoFundMe for it. It's not worthy. I've got a working mic. But a couple of people might take pity on me. They did, and that resulted in a couple of $100 extra towards this process. But I've been buying stuff and selling it, and buying it cheap, selling it for a sometimes profit, which is to say I'm not losing money in the process, but I'm getting to try all this different equipment to better the show. One of the things I want to achieve, well, an aside issue is that my daughter wants a little streaming setup, and having a giant, massive, compared to her at least, mic in front of her face when she's trying to play a game isn't necessarily good, so I want to resolve that issue. But that's an aside from this show. I want a nice separate rig to record my separate videos that I do on the iPad. And that has been achieved. I've got rid of a distortion in the show with a better desk. That's been achieved. And, I've spent, admittedly, several £100, but I've got equipment that I'm absolutely certain will do the job I want it to without having blown money on things that don't achieve the thing I want them to achieve, and then having to, buy something else and sit on it in a cupboard because you've wasted your money on it. Instead, I've bought them cheap, tried them, and then sold them on.
So who moaned?
Just somebody on the video, they're like, stop making videos about mics. I don't want to watch this. I'm like, I'm making videos because I like making videos. And what do I make videos about? The thing that I'm doing at any given time. So at this particular moment, I'm telling you about me being a microphone salesman because that's what I'm doing at this particular moment. Why am I being a microphone salesman and buyer? Because I want to better the show about flat Earth. So yeah, that is a technical aspect that's completely neutral, nothing to do with the subject in terms of it's not contentious. It's just a technical aspect. It's like somebody who runs a church saying, this is my sound guy. He's worried about game before feedback and miking the audience. You're like, what's that got to do with God? Well, nothing. It's just us broadcasting the church's service, and we want the audience's noise to be heard by the people watching on YouTube. It's got nothing to do with God. This has got nothing to do with flat Earth. It's just me buying microphones. But that's what I'm doing at the moment. So if you don't like that, as I'm kind of talking to the audience now, it's like, don't watch. It's no problem. It doesn't mean I'm not going to make flat Earth material. The only reason I'm buying mics is so that that's improved. Like me and the richness of my tones. Like, this is what I do. I want to hear my voice better. That's not selfish. It's just wanting the show to sound better. Bloody hell.
When did he moan? What day was it?
On the most recent video I uploaded about a microphone where I'm saying, here's my new mic. This is what the show will now sound like. Right? So it was me testing the water to see if I was feeling well enough to actually do the show. I just feel rough. I still do. But, I'm like, okay, I've got all the equipment out. I've got my toe in. I've put a little video out about my new mic, which I'm quite excited about. That'll hopefully get me in the mood. It didn't. And then Brian called and was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm deciding if I'm going to do a show or not. And then he told me about how everybody's in on it and there's all powers that should not be controlling them all, and they're all singing from the same hymn sheet and reading from the same script and selling the same crypto. I'm like, okay. And then he babbled on about Marty Leeds for a bit. And then said he wouldn't join the show. He's like, all right, so you're allowed to make me late to start. Although I did tell him I'm tempted not to have a show. But then, no, I can't join. That was his attitude. Brian.
Why can't you join?
Got stuff on, very busy. I'm sure he'd have talked to me for another 2 hours. Had I have not gone, all right, well, I'm going to start a show now because I'm just sat here talking to you.
I don't think they would have moaned. Let's say if you had a full week of shows, I doubt they would have moaned. But the absence of a few shows gets people a little frustrated because, they want to hear the show. It's a big thing.
Got 5 minutes, so I'm going to go through what I've spent because I kept track of it. Oh, go ahead, John. Probably something more important than me talking about microphones.
Well, I watched one of your review episodes, or the Uncut and After shows, and it had QE putting a challenge forward to Brian, Adam, and me about the Haver sign and dumbing it down.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Something else that got pushed onto the back burner pretty quickly. We are so fickle.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that'd be worth trying to do at least. I just need to get them other two together on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. It's all worthy of our time. there we go. There's something that Brian was talking about that was on topic as opposed to conspiratorial. He was explaining that the both applicable to both azimuthal equidistant projection and globe reification, right? The time zones don't work. I'm like, yeah, I know. And it was like, how did you find out they don't work? I was like, I track the sun, Brian. He was like, oh yeah. I says, it's only out by an hour when I found it to be out. And he's like, yeah, but that's all you need. And it's out here an hour and it's out there. And he started going through the list of places that he could show it was out. I'm like, yeah, it is, isn't it? That's how we know the maps aren't real, as in they're not matching with what we see in reality. They don't comport with what the sun's doing. So, the land masses are obviously not laid out as per the GP of the sun. Therefore, it doesn't match with time. Therefore, time zones are what are the linchpin. And he pointed out that I think, was it Duffy? Duffy was, pre-Antarctica, talking about time zones not working on a globe. It's like, that's why they've done this. I'm like, no, it's just Duffy saying that time zones don't work because it's on his mind. He's just some guy that's not at ease with the fact his reification of a globe that never really existed to begin with is being threatened. So he's prepared to go to quite some lengths to try and retain that belief that he holds. Good for him. But saying that time zones don't work is like, you're kind of hanging on every word here because you want to link this to him being controlled by some power that doesn't really exist, in my humble opinion. Although sometimes I'll lean into it, just not today.
I usually don't like to go that direction with it because ignorance can seem like malicious intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when they accidentally do something that seems like cunning or nefarious. You're like, see, why would they do it in that way? You're like, it's just how people are.
No, forget about that. We're all going to be proven wrong. The big thing in social media is Trump is going to save the astronauts that are lost in space through Elon Musk. So every flat earther is going to see when the astronauts are brought back.
I bet you it will be a tear-filled moment where everyone will applaud and will grow closer to the space agencies that are certainly not lying to them about a place that doesn't exist.
Like, that's got to be the stupidest thing. Like, you're gonna really actually, because you see it on TV, you're gonna believe something like that. Which, by the way, was a quote in The Shining. If Danny's seen it on TV, it's okay. Did you see that video I posted with that guy saying he doesn't believe because he knows?
Yeah, Dr. Young.
Yeah. Sort of like what we've been saying. Once you know, no longer a belief. How are you?
Dry. Very dry. So I've had a few days off because I was poorly because dried out the entire building along with all the horrible mold spores and nastiness that have been seeping into our walls at about 80% humidity for the last 5 years. But we bought a dehumidifier, dried the place out, and then made me a bit ill for the last 2 or 3 days with headaches and such. Probably just dehydration, but I've kind of acclimatized to how much drier the air is, and now I'm feeling a little bit better. So hopefully we'll cope with at least one live show this week, at the very minimum. So let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any evidence of physical...
Whoa, back up. Did I hear one live show this week?
At least one live show, given that we're doing one live show right now, and I could be by bus tomorrow, Neil. So definitely, at the least, there's going to be one. Would you not agree? It's live now, by the way.
Thought you were setting up for vacation.
I wasn't going to do today's show. I was on the phone with Brian, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do a show today. I'm struggling to cope with a few eBay sales, so I'm losing my mind because I can't figure out how to get a guy who's bought something that's with postage to come and verify that he's actually collected it in person, because the eBay system doesn't allow for that. So I'm tearing my hair out that I don't have. It's going, well, the hell, I can't figure out how to just get this to click as collected if there's no option. Well, because they want to track it for purchase validation, and they can do that with a tracking.
Send an empty box.
Yeah. Well, the guy came, he collected it, he handed over his 60 quid cash, and I cancelled the sale and refunded his card payment. But that was a little bit stressful, and I struggled to cope with it. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be doing a show today. But here I am anyway, so. I've been flogging stuff, so just to be in a position to facilitate purchasing items that I won't waste money on, I've been buying stuff super, super cheap and then flogging it on almost immediately after trying it for sometimes a small profit, but not a loss, more importantly than anything else. So certain items have been going out the door while I've been ill via eBay, which is good because it means that I've then got that money to buy other things with and hopefully improve upon the show. That's already happened, so I'm delighted. This rig now for the live show is completely overhauled. So rather than it being an Evo 4 interface with a Rode NT-G3, it's now a Neumann KMR 81i microphone with a solid state logic SSL2 Plus desk. So the audio for me personally is completely overhauled now, and that did previously leave a separate interface which I just sold today for 60 quid, the Audient Evo 4, which I was using on a separate microphone, which is also on eBay, an Audio Technica, to do the iPad recordings, but it would only come through one channel because it was a stereo box. So I've replaced that with a mono box. So now when I do an iMovie, it will see one channel coming out of both left and right speakers for you, the audience, when you're listening back to it. Very important, that. So that has been resolved with a new box called the iRig Pre-HD, which is great. And then the old box has been sold, like I say, today. That's what I was stressing about, selling the Audient Evo 4. Piece of crap that reacted to RF interference and caused nasty distortion in my live show. Eek. Spits on floor.
You're doing this on purpose now, right?
What, talking about mics?
Yeah. You're doing it to trigger people, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I've got to delay the joking about being back on the ball because someone already hinted about it in the pre-show. Apparently, people were suggesting that I'd taken a couple of days off because I was taking I was waiting for the check to clear or something, you know, the big baller check that you get. Apparently, that's what's going on. According to Mark Sargent, there's speculation of big baller checks and big baller prizes in exchange for your soul and Flat Earth channel. And it's like, has Nathan taken that check? I'm like, of course not. I wouldn't do such a thing. On an unrelated subject, have you seen my new Lamborghini?
Hold on. If the powers that be came and offered you $5 million, you're not going to do it? I would do it too and just start another channel.
No, I wouldn't do it.
Everybody's got their price.
No, I wouldn't do it. For 5 million, no. 20 million, no.
Everybody's got their price.
That's not true. I don't have a price. The money thing is only important when I want to achieve something, right? Now, this is because of an error on my mother's part as a child that rewired me in a way that I shouldn't be wired. She just misquoted the Bible. Yeah? Money's the root of all evil? Well, no, money is not the root of all evil. It's it's a required thing in society to, you know, purchase stuff. But that was what I was left with, the impression that money was evil. So I grew up.
Love of money.
Just keep whittering through me, Neil. You tell my story. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the love of money that's the root of all
Yeah,
evil.
most people listening can get that. They know that. Thanks. Yeah. But that's not what I was told as my story goes, Neil, but you can tell it for me in the middle of it, if you like, with the correction to the bit that rewired me incorrectly to make me not care particularly or at all about money until I require something. Then I can achieve quite amazing things, as my wife found out. She's like, how have you bought a $2,500 microphone for £375? I'm like, because I'm amazing and I wanted it. So I got it for the price I wanted it. That's how that's how I do things. I was the same when I was flogging stuff. Sales and purchasing is very similar in many different ways. Convincing someone to let you buy something off them cheap is no different to trying to convince somebody to sell something or to buy something off you expensive, right? The two skills are very, very similar and intertwined, which means that
5 million is
I was getting ready
life-changing
to,
money.
yeah.
I'm getting there, Neil. I'm getting there. But I don't care. What do I do for a living? Does it earn me big money? No. I scrape by. Just keep my head above the poverty line. Now, occasionally you might go, how can you possibly say that? You've just bought a Neumann microphone. Well, no. What I've done is I've bought and sold and traded and finagled, right, John, a new microphone. Because I don't have disposable income to just buy things. Far from it. But what I can do is I can buy something for £1 and sell it for 2, 25 times, until I've got something that's worth a decent amount of money with the profits. Well, that's just a skill that I've had for many years. The point is that I've done that because I want a new microphone. I don't want the slightly bloomy, bassy horribleness that gets repeated when we're debating the subject of flat Earth. And just in case anybody didn't pick up on my subtlety about the humorous being paid off, Earth is measured flat. There is no walking away from Earth being flat when you know that. You can't walk away. So someone says, well, what would you get? Well, you got a price, you just lie. Nah, I wouldn't. Why? Well, because I don't like lying. What would you think? Because I'd worry about going to hell.
Lying.
It is lying. If I start saying, well, Earth's ball, when I know it's measured flat, that's lying.
You don't have to. You don't
Yeah,
have
exactly,
to. If
John.
they just give you
Explain
20
it
million
to
to
him.
walk away, if they give you 20 million to walk away, you ain't got to tell nobody. You just walk away. You saying you couldn't just walk away?
No, I couldn't. Why couldn't I walk away? Same reason that I praise my community. So what's life about? Is life about money?
Yeah.
Life's not about money.
Why would he?
Life's about living and having a family, people around you that you like, a community. So I'm quite emotional when I appeal to my audience that in YouTube sense don't keep the bills paid. The community that I've got around me does. And that's absolutely heartwarming. It's a sensation that you cannot buy, akin to meeting your long-term lover or wife, partner, whatever. When you first meet that person, that feeling, the butterflies, you can't buy that. That's something that doesn't have a price. Well, having a community around me is something that you can't buy. I walked away from earning really good money and driving around. At one point, I was literally driving around in Ferraris and Lamborghinis and had a really expensive, at the time, £50,000 or £60,000 Retmobile that I'd pootle around in that was getting 6 miles to the gallon because it was a supercharged monster and would do 60 in 5 seconds, even though it was really heavy. And back in the day, that was expensive, and I had money, I had an expense account, and I didn't want that. I wanted what I've got now more than the money that I was earning. Now, I didn't even want that job for the money. I wanted that job to be James Bond, because that job afforded me the ability, without me paying a dime, to fly all over the world being a rep. So I got to fly all over the world. I got to see all the different... That wasn't about the money. I can't even remember what the salary was. It wasn't important to me. But having an expense account and being able to go anywhere I liked, that was important to me. And if someone had said to me then, when I was flying all over the world, well, we'll just give you $1 million and you can just walk away. But like, walk away from having a really wonderful life? No thanks. Well, but you can buy a better life with $1 million, can you? I feel like I'm James Bond.
Well, that's it right there. You've been on the other side, and money can't buy you love. So it's the truth. You're not gonna sell out because you have something right now that's hard to get, a community like this. And they're real people. And there's no way, I don't care what they offered you, there's no way you can walk away from this.
I wanted a high-powered job.
What.
I wanted lots of money to attract a woman. That is typically what most men do. They go out and they find a decent job so that they can be more attractive to the opposite sex. That's why I did it. So when I met my wife, I pulled up in my Retmobile and was like, yeah, I've got a few quid thrown around. I'm all right for cash. You okay, Hayuka? Got your mic wide open in the middle of my live show, my friend.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear my
me
microphone?
me addressing you by name
Okay.
and telling you that you've got your mic open in the middle of my live show is what me not being able to hear you? That seems like a really stupid question to open with, given I've just addressed you by name about your
Well,
mic being
sorry, I
open.
didn't know
You're
whether you
still
could hear
open
me.
mic talking through me addressing the question you just asked. Yes, I can hear you. I'm answering your question. You're talking through the middle of me. We haven't even engaged in conversation yet, and you've already annoyed me.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have your new microphone today.
Mute up.
Yeah. Yes, I have, yeah.
Okay. To me, I don't know. Okay. I don't know about anybody
Can you get
else,
closer
but
to
you
your
sound a
microphone,
bit
please?
raspy
Can you
to
get
me.
closer? We can't hardly hear what you're saying.
Okay. Is that better?
Not really.
Hello?
Oh
Can
boy.
you hear me now?
Not really. You're just
Hang
quiet.
on. Hang on. I'll try something. Okay.
Can the mod just mute him?
Middle of
Can
a
you hear
live
me
show.
It's a
now?
live show,
Middle
man.
of a live show.
I
Should we
know. That's what I'm
cease
talking
and do a
to.
little
That's why.
sound check with you for 10 minutes, Hayuka, in the middle of my live show? People desperately want to hear about
Well,
my
I don't know. I
microphones.
can't
You're
hear
ruining this.
myself.
That's better. Go ahead.
Yes.
Ugh. It's just dropped. What the hell? You gotta
See, now
laugh.
these are the things I think that are done deliberately.
In any event, no, I'm not going to sell out, Neil, because there's more to life than money.
You pull up with your Ratmobile.
Yeah, I was with my Retmobile with my wife. Yeah, I pulled up and she had a better car than I did. The car we've still got.
Speaking.
Oh, no,
Truth.
we got a hot micer.
The truth, you're hot micing. The truth acknowledged. The truth acknowledged. No worries. That was just him hot micing. So yeah, so having decent amount of money in your back pocket is very useful at one stage in your life because it means you can attract a pretty female. That's good when you want to reproduce. Well, I've reproduced. I've got my pretty female, if you want to look at it in the most base of terms. You'd hate me calling her the pretty female. My wife, Paula, who I'm very pleased with, right? But that means that what do I need it for? I mean, I could buy a house instead of living in an apartment. That's about it. Other than that, I can't really think of a more reliable car. That's it. But
I never needed money. I was always very handsome.
So was I, Neil.
All right. Good job, guys. I'm pretty sure Hayuka was going to challenge you on one of the things about the nature of our reality.
No, he
We
wasn't.
talked about this. Yeah, he was.
You reckon? Maybe. We'll never know. Maybe he'll return. We'll find out. We'll have. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I want to know where Will Duffy is. He got
am
voice verified Friday. Where is he
coming in?
today?
Am I coming in clearly? Can you hear me or not? Can you hear me?
An invitation.
Right. What did you want to go through, Hayuka? Feel free.
Can you hear me now?
Much better. Thank Lord.
Okay. I see. You have a new microphone.
I do, yes. It's
Oh
a
my
Neumann.
God.
It's a Neumann microphone. Very nice indeed.
Okay. Oh, I just wanted to say that from what I can hear, it sounds a bit crackly. Sound a bit like that other guy. Sounds like he's been smoking a lot. I don't know what the term is, but it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe everybody else can hear you different, but maybe, I don't know. To me, it sounds a bit. There's another guy here. He was talking and he sounds like he's been smoking for many years. Very raspy voice, and it's a bit like that.
I would. Yeah.
Well, that's a
I'm
good
just giving you
challenge
some
to our
feedback.
reality.
That's all.
There's feedback as
Yeah,
well. Oh no, that's awful.
I'd appreciate it if you'd end that with "Therefore the Earth is a globe,"
That's
at least.
him. That guy. That guy. He's the one. You sound a bit like him.
Well, jolly
Oh,
good.
it's
Nathan
not so
sounds
bad.
like refracted.
Anyway.
Really.
Anyway, to me, yeah. But if you spend a lot of money, you know what you're doing. It's okay. I just letting you know what I can hear. That's all. I mean, you can't hear it.
I can hear it. What do you mean I can't hear it? You're having a laugh.
What do you mean he spends a lot of money? What's that supposed to mean?
You can't hear what I can hear. You can't hear what I can hear. That's all.
That's wonderful.
You know,
Was there
I'm
anything
just
else?
telling you what I can hear here in this Discord. Well, not the moment, but we'll see. We'll see.
Very good. Anyway, what was it you wanted to ask?
That was it. I was just telling you about the sound, your microphone.
I'm good in that regard. I don't need any help. But thanks.
Okay. I tell you the other thing that's probably a problem, but you're not, I don't know, is that, you know, when you say mute the device you're watching, you know that thing you say?
Yeah.
Okay. So the problem is here in the Discord, you can't see what you're doing. Can't see your screen, otherwise, because you have to watch YouTube at the same time and there's a delay. So, you know, you should have some way where you can see it in the Discord, you know, and we could see what you can see when you're talking about what you can see. That's all.
But see, what would you
It
want
might
to look
help.
at? Me standing here or sitting here? Just what do you want to see?
But I don't know. You always talk about what's on your screen, but I can't see your screen unless I'm watching YouTube at the same time and there's a delay.
Yeah, I don't tend to share my screen in Discord. I could if I could be bothered to learn it, but I've got too much going on.
Okay.
You don't
Just
do it in G
constructive
plus either.
criticism,
What's
that's
your
all.
point?
Really, it's okay. I'll try and watch YouTube some of the devices at the same time so I can see what you're talking about.
This is truly
You can't follow
fascinating.
along when it says Earth is measured flat?
You're being asked if you follow along when I
I'm
say
not
Earth's
sure how
measured
you
flat.
measure it. But, well, I'm not sure how you measure the Earth flat myself.
Like
But
longitude and
maybe
latitude.
you can tell me that.
Longitude and latitude.
What?
Celestial navigation. Surveying.
What's the?
Flying. You name it. Any measurement of Earth will
Well,
be
you
flat.
measured. Did you measure longitude, latitude? You?
Yeah, I can see Polaris from where I am.
Okay.
Are you saying the measurement doesn't
So what-
exist unless we take the measurement? Please say that's not what you're saying.
That's
I
what
don't
he's
know.
saying.
You haven't told. Oh, sorry. You haven't told me. You just you said something about measuring the Earth flat, and then you said you can see Polaris from your window, and that doesn't sound like a measurement.
Yeah, latitude is the measurement. Polaris is the thing you're measuring with respect to a horizontal plane of reference.
Okay.
So you understand now then?
So you get latitude from
So
where?
you understand now?
You get latitude from where?
Do you understand now? Now
No.
we've cleared it. Now that we've cleared up how Earth's measured flat with Polaris and the latitude system that's flat, and it's measured on Earth for a ground system. That's the ground that's been measured for that system that's flat. Do you understand now?
No.
You
said
don't.
Polaris, and then you said something about latitude, but I don't hear any measurement going on.
Yet the measurement of latitude with Polaris is an elevation angle measurement for the latitude system on a flat surface with reference to the surface. I'm kind of repeating myself. I just said this literally 25 seconds ago, did I not?
Okay, so
do you understand, you stuttery little tosser? So do you understand now? I've explained it to you twice. So just not so. So do you understand?
No, that's why I'm
Then
asking.
shut up, sit down. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You stupid.
So
sit down and shut up. So shut up. So you shut up. Now you shut up. Now shut up.
How many?
Shut up.
How many latitudes?
Why are you asking me something, you stupid man? Shut up.
Polaris?
Shut your stupid mouth. Now I'm done with you. You're dumb.
I thought you.
Shut up. That means shut your dumbass mouth. I'm done with you. Shut up. What part of shut up don't you understand?
I thought you knew.
Shut up.
Said you were going to
shut your mouth. You dumbass.
Are you okay?
I know. I'm telling you to shut up, and you're not.
You've been ill.
No, shut up. You dumb cracker. You idiot. You dumbass. You moron. You spastic. If you don't understand latitude measurement, elevation angle measurement, after I've repeated it twice, you think you're going to sit here and quiz me? No. You're too stupid to take part in the discussion.
said measurement.
Now you can shut up. If you
said
don't
measurement,
shut up
you
and I have
never
to keep
told me
raising my
about
voice
the
to you while
measurement.
you yatter through me, I'll shut you up, you stupid dumbass.
Okay,
Do you understand
okay.
the order I'm giving you
Okay.
to shut up, you dumbass? Good.
How
Hey,
many
Brian.
latitudes?
Why are you
with
asking me something, you
Polaris?
stupid dickhead? Now you're going to get removed. Piss off.
Ooh,
Bye-bye, you stupid dumbass. Don't sit here, ask me how Earth's measured flat, get it detailed twice, not acknowledge it, then say you don't understand it and start moving on with questions of me. I'll remove you. What's the word? Wanker! Bye-bye, wanker. If you can't comprehend simple frickin' English, yeah, we measure Earth as a flat, horizontal baseline. We measure it with an elevation angle to Polaris for the latitude system. That's the third time I've repeated it. Now, I'm not going to ask him, do you understand a third time? Fuck off. Wanker.
Nathan,
Go ahead.
that sounds to me like that guy. You know, that guy hangs around over on Bev's. Fella's good at voices. The lawyer, remember, we held him to task one time on the after show, or the after show, where he was shown to be wrong, and he wouldn't admit he was wrong.
Yeah, that's
And
him.
instead of admitting he was wrong, he started wanting to bring up your wife and kids. That sounds like, to me, that's like that. He's like a fella trying to pretend he's Canadian or something.
He's got a fake
It's too
accent.
stupid to take part.
Yeah, it sounds like someone fake to me. He's very good at voices, that guy. He could do Neil's voice really well.
It's just too stupid to take part. At the point that you can't comprehend, yeah, we're measuring Earth flat. Yeah, it's an elevation angle. Yeah, we're measuring Polaris. And at every stage of me explaining that, I don't quite understand. Oh, right, you want to play retarded, mate, do you? Oh, okay, well, bugger off. I'm not going to play silly games with you. You don't understand? Well, then you're too stupid to take part. Oh, well, I'm going to ask you something anyway. No. At the point that you don't smegging acknowledge what I've laid down in no uncertain terms, Earth is measured flat. I've explained it to you. If you can't acknowledge that, then get lost. No, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to be asked any questions. No, I'm not going to be entertaining you anymore. You can just get lost. You had 2 chances. You didn't acknowledge it. You couldn't understand. Well, then you're too thick. Get lost because you're too stupid then.
That's so harsh. I thought he was entertaining.
No, it's got to that point. Earth's measured flat. How is it measured flat? Here's how it's measured flat. I don't understand. Well, then piss off. I don't care that you don't understand. Then you're stupid, and I don't care how stupid you are. Why should I carry on entertaining questions about latitude and Polaris measurement with a flat baseline? Because you haven't acknowledged it, because it means you have to acknowledge Earth's flat, don't you? So what, we're going to go around in this do-si-do circle motion forever with you not acknowledging how Earth's measured? No.
No, what it is they want you. They're saying, did you measure it? So in other words, if I tell John my room is 60 by 80, it's not a measurement unless John comes and measures it 60 by 80. Then you could say it's a measurement.
Yeah, I
What's
said, yeah.
going on here?
He said, have you measured it? I was like, yeah, I can see Polaris from here. As in, yes, I can measure latitude. I can measure the angle to that star. Yeah, I can measure Earth with a horizontal baseline, exactly as explained to him. Yeah, I've done that. That's what I answered.
But just seeing the star is not measuring your elevation angle. And he was trying to play in between the capability of measurement and whether you actually had measured it as a way to justify that, oh, well, then we don't know. Like Neil said, it's really, really scummy behavior.
Sad. Very sad. Well, I don't want to play those stupid games. There are no stupid prizes to be won here. There's just an acknowledgement of your own stupid smegging faith in a flat Earth that you need to measure to believe in a ball. Latitude's part of the measurement of a ball in your world that you've reified. In reality, we measure Earth flat for it.
They just want to waste your time, Nick. It's not whether they understand or not. They just want to waste your time. They think that's a good rebuttal. They think the way to deal with you is waste your time, make you annoyed. They think that's some kind of a win. But they're not proving anything or disproving anything other than they're time wasters. You know, I don't see the point of these people. These are the people who are the vampires, who suck all the good energy out of FED because they can't let it alone. It's like they can't deal with FED from an argument's point of view. So they must come at FED with time-wasting rhetoric like that guy. You know, who was probably, so very likely that guy who hangs around on beds putting on a fake accent.
It
He's very
is the
good at
same
accents.
guy, Brian, and he spent the first
There's
10
like him.
minutes checking his mic. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear myself.
Time wasting. I mean, I hear that guy. Nathan is very, very tolerant. I'm not. I wouldn't be tolerant. Now, I'm not doing Nathan's job, so I can't say that. But me, there'd be a lot of people who'd be gone. Just once, the first line here, gone. I'm not dealing with you. I'm not wasting my life on you. You need to go away forever. That's it.
Yeah. If vampires is the right word, because they're sucking the energy out of me personally when you go round and round. It's like, what do I win if I get him to acknowledge that Earth's measured flat by way of my detailed explanation he's had twice and won't acknowledge? Do I get a prize for that? No. But what does he get? By sitting around saying, I don't understand, I can play dumb forever. Every time you explain it to me, I can say I don't get it. Around and around we go. Well, what does he get? He gets to torment me, doesn't he? Wanker. No, you don't get to do that. Piss off. Acknowledge Earth's flat or piss off. That's your choices. I'll tell you once. Maybe twice. Then you can get lost.
Well, think about it. You're tormenting these people without ever having anything to do with them. They must join your show to do that. They must put in effort to get to the point of tormenting you.
It's true.
You're eating your cornflakes at home, right, watching something totally unrelated to Flat Earth on YouTube, and these people are absolutely tormented at home in their bedroom.
Yeah, I know.
You can just see them.
Yeah. In the mind's eye of some people like McToon, I've been saying that there's no guns in Antarctica for 9 years because I left a comment that he found out. So these people are pretty obsessed and obviously tortured at the facts that we disseminate on this channel on a daily basis. Earth's measured flat. You don't have to like it. Now, you may feel, because you're an idiot globe-believing numpty, like I'm talking to you personally, and you find it an affront to your religious belief in a globe when I tell you how Earth's measured. Tough luck. Don't come here wasting my time just because you are in pain. I don't care.
McToon didn't find that. He searched that out, and it must have took him a while.
Yeah, these people are pretty obsessed.
Well, just because he went to a region that 99.9% of people have not gone to, and ballers describe as the opportunity of a lifetime, and he should be on top of the ball world he thinks he lives on at that moment. Enjoy, but he decides to call you. Is that really a sign that he's obsessed?
Did he go there? Did they really go there?
Reminds me
Really?
of Raul, is it Raul Julia, the guy who played Sagat, I think not Sagat, M. Bison in Street Fighter, and he's talking to Chun-Li, and she's like, "You took away my family, you broke my life, you ruined me." He says, "To me, it was just a Tuesday." Yeah, I don't care. All the people out there that are like, "Oh no, he's taking away my ball, we must stop him, we must fight the flat earth." Yeah, I don't give you any thought at all. Literally none. You're not ruining my day, but I'm ruining
Well,
yours, right? Oh well.
To us, it's
Exactly.
just
It's
a
just a
Monday.
Monday.
Good.
Brian, that was my line.
What was it?
Say
We
it
both
again.
said it at the same time. It's just another Monday.
It's just another Monday, exactly. We all said it at the same time, actually. Yeah. Yeah. For you watching, if you're a baller, you can remember that day that your religious belief in a globe measured flat was ruined by me. For me, it's just another day talking about what we talk about every day. Go ahead. Truth acknowledged. Can you hear us? You're off mute.
Which text that falls in the text of the act
Truth acknowledged. Can you hear us?
of its platform.
It's the second time he's off mute.
It's okay. We'll just move him to Bible chat. He can speak with the Lord. So anyway, it's good to be back. We didn't do any housekeeping. Neil completely ruined it. You can blame him. As of tomorrow, we'll get back into the reviewing videos, I'm sure, now that people know we're back on doing live streams. I only took a couple of days off last week. We'll get some people suggesting various videos for us to cover them in, no doubt. But has everyone been good in the meantime? I mean, there has been several days since I did the live show last. Go ahead, Brian.
I didn't hear Neil earlier. I didn't hear her, sorry, earlier, but I'm sure Neil did ruin it.
Well, we can still do housekeeping. Any evidence of 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
That's not a housekeeping question.
I thought you were going to say, is there any evidence that Brian's not an asshole?
I didn't hear that.
What do
Any
you mean?
evidence? What?
What do you mean it's not? What do you mean it's not?
Not an asshole.
I can't hear what he's saying. He's thrown his toilet. He's thrown his phone down the toilet and gone to the lower floor. Brian, he's talking to your mic.
I said that I thought Neil was going to say, because I just flagged Neil off, is there any evidence that Brian is not an asshole? I thought he was going to say that.
Oh, fair enough.
But instead, he didn't say that. He said something else. And even when I tried to say what I thought he was going to say afterwards, he stopped me saying it by talking over me, which is proof that I was right earlier. That he did ruin it, even without me hearing. He did ruin everything earlier. Because he ruins everything.
Well, I did go through our conversation in brief on the pre-show. So I explained that you were on the call with me just before I started up the show, and that you were not, I don't want to say hyper-fixated on Will Duffy's account of him understanding or appreciating that time zones don't work on a globe, as he declared verbally to his audience live before going to Antarctica. Now, that's just him disclaiming that he knows that time zones don't work on a globe. Now, by his own admission, he's not going to Antarctica by antipodal assumption to prove a globe anyway. He's there to disprove the azimuthal equidistant North Pole-centric globe projection, otherwise known as the, quote, flat Earth map, which it isn't. But that doesn't mean he's suddenly controlled opposition part of the powers that should not be. He's just a baller with a bit more at his disposal to go and affirm his belief. And in so doing, he's flapping his gums about knowing what does and doesn't work. It doesn't alter that time zones don't match the maps. But we knew that anyway, and Brian was telling me about that. That was directly related to flat Earth, as opposed to whether or not they're punting Bitcoin in some.
Yeah, but you're after poisoning the well. My point wasn't a conspiracy point. My point was true. What I said to you was the other parts were more conspiratorial, and I didn't think you were going to be talking about one show. But what I said was that Will Duffy was fully aware before he went to Antarctica. Literally, I think it was the very last live stream he made before he went to Antarctica. So it could have been on the morning of him getting the flight. Right, he got a flight in the afternoon. It was that morning from his hotel room in Punta Arenas that he states that, yet, he says this, and I can't remember if there was even a lead into it, just yet, we know that time zones are a problem for the globe. Like, why would you say that? Then he went there and had to use the very time zones that are a problem, right, for the globe while he was there. I remember pointing this out. And now there's the whole false dichotomy of, did they debunk the AE map or not? You have a lot of flat earthers out there saying, no, the AE map is not debunked. I don't know why they're doing this, because the AE map has nothing to do with flat earth. It's a globe projection underneath a flat earth grid. The grid is flat earth, the latitude and longitude grid, but the projection underneath is incorrect. Now, the reason it's incorrect is because that latitude and longitude grid is what was originally hijacked to make the globe mathematically. And that's why when they flatten it back out, it stretches out places like Australia across 3 time zones that it doesn't exist within, and places like Tahiti and Hawaii in different time zones when they're in the same time zone. See, the thing is this, right? What they've created is a situation where the AE map is debunked. One group are saying, and the other group are saying it's not debunked, right? It's like, for a start, as I've stated already, that has not, whatever goes on in the sky is no relation to a map. No relation to a map, right? Other than Polaris and the measurements we use Polaris for the latitude and longitude grid. Other than that, the rest of the celestial bodies, including the sun, has no relation to the latitude and longitude grid and no relation to a map. Number one, right? The only connection that the sun has to the map, any map is the longitude lines, right? And they're an idealized 15 degrees per hour breakup, making correct local time out of solar time, because solar time changes every day because the sun is constantly moving and changing its position, right? Throughout its natural yearly cycle. The point being is that time zones destroy the globe, destroy it outright, and it's constantly and refer constantly. Because when people are referring to UTC time, with the exception of one or two instances that, let's say, Spain changed their time zone to be in alignment with Germany, they officially changed their UTC time zone to be in alignment with Germany, and they never changed it back when they should have, right? Now, they shouldn't have been allowed to do that, but they did it. The point being is that UTC time is basically adhering to correct time zones for 95 or more percent of the time. And consequently, what that means is that UTC time that you almost adhere to in Greenwich Mean Time prior to it, right, and things like chronometers are all using flat Earth and nothing else for their time zones, right? So what do they have people doing? If people are arguing about whether a globe projection is debunked or not, as opposed to focusing on the grid, not the projection underneath, the grid on top of the projection, and what that's based on. That's based on flat plane measurements, right, and a 24-hour idealized 15 degrees per hour correct local time based off of 24 hours of solar time. Regardless of that, because the sun doesn't always adhere to specific amounts because of its movement. Point being is that is the thing that they are trying their best to avoid, and they're using this, whether the AE map is debunked or not, BS, as a red herring away from the real problem they have, which is time zones. What time zone were we in Antarctica? Because the time zones if they were adhering to correct UTC time, then them being in that position in Antarctica debunks their claim of a globe and proves a flat Earth. It's that simple. So if you take all of whatever poisoning of the well that Nathan threw in, which is conspiracy, and just go back to the actual absolute facts, that is their biggest fear at present. They can't address flight, and they can't address pitch taking. They can't address that, other than Wolfie looking to debate people on bloody Jaron's channel. Right? Someone no one should address, because he doesn't deserve to be addressed, because he spent 8 years avoiding getting the very pitch data that now he supposedly wants to talk about. Don't ever address him. He's a liar. Point being is that they can't address that. They don't want to focus on that. Time is already a massive confusion in the world between political time zones and daylight savings, and the fact that there's two different summers, both north and south of the equator. People are confused constantly about time, right? So you look at the phone, they don't know why the time says what it says. You just go along with it, right? In that place, at that time, that's the time. They don't know if there's been an error added for political reasons or taken away, or an error added or taken away for purposes of daylight savings. The point is that when you unconfuse, and I don't know if that's a word, when you unconfuse the word concerning time, they point out what's really going on concerning time, is the one thing they needed to do was confuse everyone concerning time, because their globe does not match correct local time.
Yeah, I completely agree 100%, other than you're widening the net beyond Duffy saying it specifically. Now, it's not that it's not true unilaterally, it's just what you've gleamed from the circumstances doesn't mean it unilaterally based on what you gleamed. It just means Duffy said it specifically.
Yes, but I found it very strange that he said that. Why did he suddenly need, just before he went, why did he suddenly need to say that? Very strange. For me, I found that very strange. It's like as if he was giving away the very thing that he was literally trying to attack by going there with this whole TFE. Whether the whole thing was real or not doesn't matter. The point is that, as far as I'm concerned, the purpose behind it is an attack on the time zone argument. And the way they're attacking the argument is by creating a red herring completely away from it. That people are arguing about the projection and not the grid. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you've said it all.
The projection is a globe projection flattened out. It's not a flat out map. But the grid is, when you flatten out that grid, that is the correct grid. That's how it actually is and how it actually exists in reality, how it's measured and how it's adhered to in reality. But the projection is not correct. That's my point. But they want to have people argue about whether the projection is correct or not. When it's not. They're saying it's not correct Right? They're saying it's debunked, but they're not saying why it's debunked. They're saying they debunked it with the TFE. No, it was debunked prior to the TFE by time zones. That's what debunked it. Even Nathan, you even spoke earlier on with me about you doing the sun tracking thing back in 2016. You showed that there was points where the sun was an hour out at times. Right? That's all it would need to be. All it is across Australia is you added in an extra hour that doesn't exist. That's why they have Australia stretched across 3 time zones. But it's not, it's within 2 in reality.
Indeedy weedy. So my appeal is going to be, no, Brian's definitely done, is let us know if you did want to cover a video in the next few days. Drop me a line, maybe join in the Discord server, tell us what's been happening in the world of flat earth, videography that is, and we'll cover some of this stuff. Hopefully it won't be directly connected to TFE, because I'm getting a bit sick of it. No offense to what you've just been talking about, Brian, that's not what I mean. I just mean that it's before I had a couple of days off, it's all people were sending me. This is what they're talking about with regards to TFE. That's what they're talking about with regards to TFE. This guy's mentioned TFE. That guy's mentioned it. You're like, bloody hell. Just, it's saturated, isn't it?
Did you watch my video?
I did. I watched the what was it? I gleaned from the specific particular thing that you said. Oh yeah, you were kind of going through how they hijack various different things, and at the end, your conclusion was it doesn't really matter what we'll talk about. The conclusion the globe heads will make is globe. I can't remember exactly how you phrased it, but it just made me chuckle when I heard it.
No, that's not what was in my most recent video.
Yeah, I don't know if it's your most recent. It was the one that you asked me to watch a couple of days ago.
I'm sure it's the right video. I was pointing out that the measurements of Mount Everest.
Yeah, same video.
Prove the Earth is flat and debunk that it's completely. I just showed the implications. Now, obviously, I didn't add in any angular sizes for the globe. You can't have them because that's perspective. But I showed the implications of what would happen is that to be within their power line, using those, because they must claim divergent zenith, using their divergent zeniths, creating a 90 degrees off of that zenith, means that there's a whole portion of the mountain that they would not be able to measure. So they know that they know that they wouldn't even know the elevations from their what would be they'll try to call it the curved sea level up to the top of up to where Kathmandu Valley is. They won't be able to even know that much. But even if they did have that information, right, that information and the little bit at the top of the mountain that they could be able, using a 90-degree angle off of the zenith from Kathmandu Valley, there'd be a whole section of the mountain they'd never be able to see. The point being is that the use of angular size, right, when you take the angular size measurement of something, it is an elevation angle, right? It doesn't matter what way you twist or turn it. It doesn't matter if it's something small or something big. Once you take an elevation angle, you're measuring the vertical. Now, the vertical has to be either in relation to mean sea level or you're measuring it as parallel to mean sea level. I mean, it's like it's always going to be parallel. I don't care if you're measuring something across your table. The angular size of something across at the other end of your table. That straight line you're making is parallel to mean sea level. Because mean sea level is a horizontal, and all horizontals are parallel, right? Just like all verticals are parallel. Point being is that you can't make the measurement of the angular size of Mount Everest if you are saying it's a globe. That can't happen. Number one, you have divergent zeniths. You require parallel zeniths, right? And you don't have verticals on the globe, you don't have horizontal. All you can do is take a 90 degrees off of your divergent zenith, and that means you'll never be able to see the amount of the mountain that you need to be able to see off of your straight line, not a horizontal, just a straight line. And you can't measure an angular size because they don't exist within that power line. So no matter what way you twist or turn it, there is no way for them to measure the angular size of Mount Everest. You can't do it as a measurement. But yet, in reality, we can make measurements from places like Kathmandu Valley, taking the elevation of Kathmandu Valley into account, right? Right, because elevation is all off of the same horizontal baseline, being sea level, right? Taking that elevation into account, we can measure from a straight line from there, right? Measure the angular size of the rest of Mount Everest, and that portion that we measure will exactly match the portion of Mount Everest above the elevation of Kathmandu Valley. Just like you can measure a pole down the end of your road, if you know the exact distance to the pole, your angular size of the pole will give you its exact height. Or if you know its exact height, you take the angular size of it, you know the exact distance to it. Using trigonometry, use of a triangle, opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. All these things are doable, and they've been doable since the time of Pythagoras. And before him, the Babylonians, they've probably been doable forever. The point being is that that can't happen on the globe. So there's no way they could have measured anything on the globe concerning Mount Everest. I just use Mount Everest because it's the highest peak that we know of. So it's, I've even had people, just 1 second, John, I've even had ballers in my chat saying, how come we didn't pick something that was more close to global flat where they'd be somewhat even? Well, for a start, you can't have somewhat even because they always have a core baseline, so they can't do anything. But why would you need me to use a different example? That's less conclusive. That where you can try and add in some nonsense. Like, not that they can, but they think they can. There's nothing they can add in. Point being is that they can't do this. This can't be done unless the earth is flat. Sorry, no, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say that they can't get their zenith. There's whether it diverges or not, it's irrelevant. They're not capable of getting a zenith. That's a 90 degrees to the surface. There's a GP point.
You see, this is the problem. For me to even show what I was trying to show, I had to show them with a zenith from a center point of a globe, and then taking a 90 degrees a zenith angle off of that zenith to create the 90, for me to even show the ridiculousness of their claim. Now, I couldn't go further than that because they don't have angular size on their well, it's not part of the globe at all. There's no perspective that's part of the globe. It's all what was hijacked. They hijacked flat plane measurements, angular measurements, which is hijacking with perspective. So those things don't exist. But I know what you were saying, John. And I obviously said it's not vertical and horizontal. It's just a 90 off a zenith that's divergent. But even at that, I would still have to. The only way for me to show it was to actually somewhat show their ridiculous claim, even though their claim is completely anti-reality. I understand what you're saying, but there was no other way for me to show it but to show it like that.
Hey, QE.
I understand, Brian. I'm just saying that you give them a little. I just want them to know that you're beating them a little bit.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, Nathan.
Hello, QE.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
Hey, QE.
Hey, Brian.
Well, I'm glad we did this.
Still alive?
Just about.
What the heck happened to you?
I dried the place out and all the spores and mold and everything went into the air while it was getting dried out and just made everybody ill.
Kids okay?
Nah. Eldest one was thrown up. Other than that, yeah. It's not been much fun the last few days. We're alright. I'm happy. I got microphones arriving to keep me occupied while I was feeling a bit miserable, which did cheer me up. How about you? How are you?
I'd write a very strongly worded letter, sir.
Strongly worded letter to who?
Whoever owns your apartment building.
That would be me.
Yeah,
Well,
Nathan Oakley.
The bank if I miss a payment, but you know what I mean.
Oh, you have that set up. Okay. I got it.
Yeah, well, we've got about 5 or 6 more minutes left live, so as I say, if anybody wants us to cover any videos that have been published in the last 2, 3, maybe 4 days, just drop us a line, let us know, and we'll cover it.
I thought Duffy was coming today.
It's been voice verified, apparently.
Well, have you thought about ping pong golf ball?
Ping pong golf ball. Thought he went bye-byes.
I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about him.
Somebody sent a message in Discord that said Bevpard is streaming your show in his Discord.
Say again.
I'm looking in the main text chat or Flat Earth Debate, and Chris Bear said Bev is streaming your show in his Discord.
Does it matter? Should I be concerned about that?
I don't know. I thought it's strange. Bevpard. Retard. My word. Aren't you embarrassed?
Nathan's living in everybody's head. We've decided that.
Indeedy. If I don't give you any concern or affection, it's nothing personal. It's just I can't see you on the other side of your iPad or laptop screen. You know, I'm here and you're there, and I don't really care about what you're doing. So if you are affected by what we've covered on Flat Earth Debate today, yeah, that's
Well,
the
what
end
is
of
he
that.
going to say?
That's the end of that sentence.
Sorry, Nathan. He's going to say he's measured Earth not to be flat. He's a retard.
I think any interactions you're going to make will probably just be a waste of time. Because Bev just wants to waste time, really. You know what I mean? I think that's how I view Bev. It's just wasting time for everyone. Pointing out things that are ridiculous.
He's got the flat globe. You know that, right?
Yeah, but the problem with Bev is this. When you use his standard against him, he calls it ridiculous. So where do you go from there? You know what I mean? If you say to Bev, well, the table in front of you is flat, that's how you describe it, but at the microscopic level, you know what I mean? Put a microscope on it, it'll have undulations. He'd say that's ridiculous. Right? But yet that's yet the hill outside his door proves that the earth is not flat when we're talking about the earth, not the hill outside his door. Point being is that his standard is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that he even dispels it when it's put back to him. So what's the point? What's the point? Bev just wants to waste people's time. I think Bev is just more into having a laugh. I don't think he's into that serious. I don't think he's serious about anything.
Oh, give me a break. He can't even tie his shoes by himself. Go live and put on one shoe and tie that sumbitch. We want to see it. Without a fleet of slobber nurses, for God's sake. Now we can move on from Bev. Jesus.
That was what I was suggesting we do. As I said, he'd just be wasting your time. That's what he does.
Who brought up Bev anyway?
I did, because there was a message here in main text chat.
So you're at fault then, not me.
Shut up.
Okay, is there any more while we're still alive? I'm actually going to round out early. I'm not going to have an after show today.
Huh?
What? So I get to talk to these guys for the next 30 minutes?
Something like that. When are we doing the book next?
Was my question. That I was coming right at you with that. That question's to you.
I don't know. Tomorrow?
Gotta get with Adam.
We'll figure it out with Adam.
Can't be tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. What happens on Tuesdays?
Got QE live. Do you want to do a little plug-a-rooney?
Plug-a-rooney away.
Well, it's your show. You do the plug.
What are we going to do tomorrow? I am going to run a numpty clip tomorrow, right from the outset. I think that's what I'm going to do. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie.
On what? Who's numpty clip?
I'm not saying. You got to tune in.
Oh, so it's Be Here or Be Sphere on the YouTube channel known as Quantum Eraser for Quantum Eraser Live, and the numpty clip that we're not going to find out about until you tune in tomorrow. So be here or be sphere Tuesday. That's tomorrow. If you're watching live.
There might be a time change because we jump forward.
Yep.
So what time is it there in England land right now?
3 o'clock, 3 p.m.
It's coming up to 3 p.m. It's 2:58 p.m.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that means that it's at 6 p.m. instead of 7, correct? UK time.
Is that right? Is that 1 p.m.
No,
US Central?
8 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. because it's normally 7 p.m. Nathan, you're at it again.
What? Meddling with time?
Deliberately confusing matters and messing around with time.
This has nothing to do with time zones and proving flat Earth. I've just got the adjustment of jumping forward and falling back incorrect. That's all.
It has everything to do with it.
Everything to do with proving Earth's a flat plane that we measure.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know, Brian.
Why put off tomorrow what can be done today? The book hasn't been touched in like 2 weeks.
You're saying we should do the book today? Oh, I haven't spoken to Adam. That's what we've got to do. He's curating it, and we need him in front of a screen to be able to do that. So without him here to ask, that's not going to be the case. But I'm going to round out on that note. So with that, I'm going to say this is farewell because there is no after show. So a massive, huge, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's live and pre-show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.